They come from areas around Breneville and Derrymore and Kyoto coast on Coast to Ore is Annandale. The musicians from the Gold Coast, and we have the Gold Coast in Derrymore. I'm chairman of the Save the Green Committee, and this is our 50th anniversary. Our committee was founded in 1969. There are some things that I would be saying this evening that some people might like, but I'll be easy on it, I can assure you, given our various histories between us all. But we found a necessity at the time. I wasn't in the foundation of it, but I joined very soon afterwards. At the same time, a young group called the Young Ideas surfaced, and that organisation allied itself straight away with the Save the Green Committee and became very actively involved. On the occasion, just behind me over here was a definite proposal to put a roadway in through the town park, up as far as St. John's Church. Now, the townspeople didn't like the idea. Save the Green Committee was formed, and the campaign went from 1969 until 1973. And the reason for that time factor was because the decision had been made. The rules at the time meant 2/3 plus 1 of a vote in the council would be needed to change it. Therefore, a lot of persuasion went on in the meantime. That youth movement, the Young Idea, took a project in hand, and a concert, a musical protest was organised here, right in this very spot. This town park and surrounding areas is full of history, some of which I'll touch on briefly. I promise I won't keep you as long as Boris did that poor policewoman that collapsed last night. I'll probably go on myself. But on the occasion, we had this musical protest. The tractor was stopped here, the stage was over there, and the stage was the trailer from the tractor. Every musician that was playing music in town turned up. There was no qualms from anybody. Several hundred people turned out, and this was 1973, away from 1969. And I was approached by a person at the concert to say that his party had spoken to their relative politicians in the council, and they were instructed that the people don't want it, so they should change their mind, and that's how that fight finished. There was the next meeting held in the council, the decision was rescinded, and from there on the Green was safe for a while. But there were other projects, and many of them came along the way. The Save the Green Committee, there were ups and downs, there were no need to have it at times, but it was always there in some format. When that concert took place, I think it's significant to mention that there were two speakers at the concert. I, as chairman of the Young Idea at the time, spoke from the young people. I had long hair and a bit of making a moustache at the time. That's long since gone. And the second person to speak was a man called Billy Mullins. Now, it's very significant in that Billy Mullins pleaded with workers not to touch a shovel or lift and take a blade of grass from the green should they get instructions to do so. That was the cat cry at the time, was not a blade of grass. But Billy Mullins was the man who went to Dublin on Good Friday 1916 at night to visit Padraig Pearse, whom he met at Liberty Hall, and informed him of the failure of the landings at Bannistrand, and that Roger Casement had been arrested. So there's a significant historic connection along the way between us, the Green activities, and I'm very happy to see Billy's grandson, Mike, is here tonight. Father wrote Mike, he has turned up, and we reminisce going back almost 50 years for that concert. There were various incidents along the way. There were, as I said, there were gaps. If we fast forward to 1979, it was the centenary year of the birth of Padraig Pearse. Now, our members got involved in various objectives similar to our own policy of greenery and preservation. At that time, there was a proposal to build, or it was just being talked about, to build buildings inside of what was known as Foster's Field across the way. I was at the inaugural meeting of the foundation of the Padraig Pearse Commemoration Committee, along with other members of the Save the Green Committee, and there was a proposal put forward to ask the council for a loan of that field and develop it for two reasons. One, to honour Padraig Pearse, and the second one was to keep it attached to the town park. The rest, as I say, is history, and Park and Fielsick is glorious today. Thanks to those that work that was taking place at the time. The chairman of that committee, I'm happy to say he's here this evening, Micheál O'Sullivan, Falter Road of the Hill. We eventually got the job done. Yes, thank you. And there you are. Now, other projects that were taken on board, not by the Save the Green Committee, but the active members, was, for example, Ballyseedy Wood. And that took place in the 80s. Somebody made a phone call to Board Planall and asked the question, is there planning required to knock down a wood? The answer was no. The committee got together, Ballyseedy Committee, comprised of many people, including me, all the men in the Save the Green Committee at the time. Ballyseedy was bought by that committee and handed over to the council, and I see Conor said just peeping up there as well. So we have been involved in many of those. Every St. Patrick's Day, as best we could since 2004, we participated, and in those intervening years we won probably 8 or 9 times. Such was the effort we put into all of that. I tell you all of these things just to let you know that we are a positive organisation. I was going to say conservative. We're a conserving organisation, and we had many events on the street in recent years when again we took to the streets to prevent traffic going in over by Sheamsa. We collected 10,818 signatures. In 1969 to 1970, the houses and the small businesses in Tralee were canvassed to take people's views on the proposed road behind my back. At that time, almost 4,500 signatures were collected in a town that was much smaller. So the people speak, the people tell their tale, the people are quite clear that the green should be preserved. This is now recognised as one of the finest town parks in Europe. And it's also due in no small way to the fantastic work that's done through the council, people working in the council people who work inside in the park, and the decisions that are made to preserve this park and beautify it. You look behind me here, there's a yellow ribbon on the tree, and I'm sure you're wondering what it's for. Well, in 1973 at that famous concert, there was one of the songs that was in vogue was a song called Tie a Yellow Ribbon Round the Old Oak Tree. And just to reminisce now, we'll have a little of the chorus from Aoife.
Oh, tie a yellow ribbon round the old oak tree. It's been 3 long years, do you still want me? And if I don't see a ribbon round the old oak tree, I'll stay on the bus, forget about us, and put the blame on me. If I don't see a ribbon round the old oak tree.
Yes, it's a yellow ribbon. We're not that yellow, we're not that green either, I suppose. But to add a little extra colour to this and the times that are in it, Eddie Reardon, one of our committee members, will now plant another flag. Lift it up, Eddie. Eddie was afraid he'd be in the queue for his tickets again this evening. He goes to every match that you can think of. He's an annual contributor for tickets. Well done, Eddie. There was another song in vogue at the time of that concert, and it was a song that was sung by one of our very own in Tralee, one of the finest singers and musicians from a fine musical family and a grand old Tralee family. And that was a song that was sung by our own DJ Curtin. And the song was Almost Persuaded. So let's have a little few words of that.
And I was almost persuaded to strip myself of my pride. Almost persuaded to push my conscience aside.
Little weak, Aoife, in case you don't realise that Aoife is my daughter, so we keep it within the family. Is Eddie Jennings here? Eddie Jennings and Eddie's sister Mary is here with us. They're great friends with the Curtin family. And DJ Curtin is one who never lost contact with his hometown, Tralee. He came over here in that concert in 1973. We were in touch all the week. It lashed out of the heavens for a full week until that Sunday morning, and Con McCarthy is smiling inside in the van because he knows what I'm going to say next. I met Con out here at 10 o'clock in the morning. It was the 4th Sunday in September, the week after the All-Ireland. And in case you were wondering who won it, well, it was Cork who won it in 1973. So we'll get over that fast. And we had booked the Ash Memorial Hall as a contingency plan. And we had no idea who was going to turn up and how many. We had so many musicians on the day that it went on for over 3.5 hours instead of an hour and a half. And Con looked up at the sky and he saw about a half crown's worth of blue was peeping, and he said, look, it's going to be good. And it turned out to be fantastic. So Eddie Jennings, a good friend of DJ and the family, as I said, Eddie has a message that was sent to us, especially from DJ, for this occasion to reminisce on how he worked with us as well as his appreciation of the Green. Here's Eddie.
Good evening, everybody. Kathleen DJ sister used to babysit me, enough said. Just to look at our town park on this beautiful autumn evening, it speaks for itself. It's tremendous beautiful town park. DJ fondly remembers 1973 concert when many musicians from Tralee supported the concert. His late brother Billy, Michael Donovan, was MC. DJ also remembers the many times as a child he played there, Cowboys and Indians, Falling the Best, all those childhood games. He really loves Tralee and loves the park. His mom used to actually walk this park 5 times a day, every day in all weathers. And she always said she got tremendous oxygen from the beautiful trees. So DJ wishes everybody here in Tralee the very best on this wonderful night. Thank you.
Thank you, Eddie. I want to say at this point, and I should have said it earlier, I suppose, that we should give a falter road to our Mayor, Jim Finucane, and the councillors who were here as well this evening, as well as council officials who were down there. And I must say that the assistance and cooperation from the council for this venture was 100%. Be the weakest Cockania. Now, we have a couple of very special, we have lots of special friends here, all special friends to us. It's very difficult to name out a few people for any purpose. It's a dangerous thing to do because you'll always leave people out. So I will just reminisce on one person. That's Maeve O'Donnell. Maeve's family are here again this evening, and you're very welcome for Walter O'Connor. On the day, I keep coming back to that concert because it was described as a musical protest, and but it was a fantastic day, and it carried on into the Imperial, into the long hours of the night after that. But on the day in question, you wouldn't get this nowadays in terms of health and safety. As I said, our stage was a trailer. It was drawn down from Murphy's farm above it in Torbrine Cross area, Mount Hog, and it was parked just there. And we were promised to be able to plug in a lead across the road here. Now that road wasn't there at the time outside, but those people who happened to be away in America, so what do we do? So we got a 100-meter roll of electric cable. We wound it around a couple of the trees here. Toilets there weren't there at the time. Onto the tree outside, onto the pole below, across the stairway that was holding up the festival lights, down the wall, and plugged it into the socket in Maeve's house. And that was our power supply for that famous concert. And anyway, it did the trick. But as I say, it's very difficult to name or not to name, so I think I leave the mentioning of names at Maeve O'Donnell because she epitomises everything that anybody here ever stood for and anything we ever did for the town. Maeve was involved in all of the issues that I mentioned, Belly Seedy Wood, Sir Optimus over here, who built the lovely Garden of the Senses, Quishta Camora and Fiercy. Maeve was in everything, always. And I'll just tell one funny story about Maeve. I was speaking to her outside her house one day about 3 or 4 years ago, and standing on the steps, and the worst thing that could have been done was done in front of Maeve's eyes. There were 4 or 5 young people coming along, and they dropped a burger carton on the footpath right outside Maeve's door. And what would Maeve typically say? Oh dear. Maeve will think quickly, but she'll act soon. So she walked after them into the building next door. No reflection on the people in there. They joined up with their colleagues inside, and the crack was great. And Maeve, petite, polite, demure lady as she was, excuse me, she said, but I believe this is your property. I would much rather if you didn't leave on the steps outside my house. And there was dead silence, and we could hear the silence as we left the building. She made small work of those people. But anyway, there are a couple of other people. Well done, Maeve. Thanks a lot. There are so many people who have contributed so much to the Green over the years. As I said earlier, it's a very historic place. The gates crossing the Green were just outside there. It was the castle just below the street was pulled down around 1828 because it was becoming decrepit, and the last occupants had moved to London. And lots of the houses in Denny Street were built from the spoil from the castle, probably including Maeve's house. This building was built as a result of the buying of the green. And I'm going to read you a little quote now from March 1922, from the Kerry people, and it's headed The Green. The people of Tralee will learn with genuine satisfaction that the green has been purchased by the Tralee Urban Council for the sum of £5,500, about the cost of some of the monuments we see around here at the moment. Already a rumour is busy regarding a new county hall, and it is even stated that the work will be commenced immediately. There seems to be a consensus of opinion that the hall burned by the Black and Tans was very much out of the way. That was the old Theatre Royal. And the hope is freely expressed, now that the green is town property, that a convenient site will be found in it for the new building, which is now the Thomas Ashe Hall. And down at the end it says, for a town of the importance of Tralee, a public park is a necessity. Nothing can now stop the local authority from making provisions for the people and their children in this respect. Now that was nearly 100 years ago, and the green consisted of 120 acres. We now have 35 acres left out of that. It's a beautiful park there. Whatever ideas or shapes that people want to change about in the green, I would say this, and it's a message I know from my committee. Mind what we have. There's no need to put more stuff into the green. What we have is absolutely beautiful and perfect. And it's been minded very well by the council, by the people, and by the workers who come in here all the time to give a handout. So that will be my message to you this evening. And in terms of people who have contributed so much, I come back to Con McCarthy, he's smiling in there again in the van. Con has been with us since 1969. At every function and event we had, and we had many of them, he's worked with people all over the town, hardly ever charged, and charged very little most of the time. So Con, if you will come out of the van now, please, I want you to come over here just for a second. Con has a bill for us here, I suppose. Come over here, Con, for a second. Did you hear that? I'm sure. Con, you're a man who has been with us always and ever, and there's no organisation in town that doesn't know you. So we'd like to offer you a little token of appreciation for all your contributions to Tralee. So if you'd like to take that one out and well done, Con. I mentioned all the work that has gone on here, and if you look over here, there's a sea and a wave of flowers anytime you look at any time of the year. And the people are responsible to a great extent. We have selected tonight to represent the workers, if we may, who have contributed to making this park beautiful, to the council officials, to the town councillors, whom we meet and talk with from time to time. And I'm going to ask Brendan and Lorna to come forward now for a moment, please. This is Brendan Enright, Brendan and Laura, gardeners, emeritus, we might say. Brendan, very welcome. And we have a little something to show you as well. Where is Jim? You'll have to open the box, Jim. This is fresh off the press. So thank you very much, Brendan, from us in the Save the Green Committee, and Lorna, and I'm sure from all of us. Now we come to the magic moment of the evening. We're going to unveil our park seat, and I'm going to invite Roisin Kearns, daughter of Sean, who's a very activist in our committee and in town, and Lily Tangley, our secretary, to come forward, please, over here, and our mayor, Jim Finucane, and we'll unveil this park bench, which is now donated from the Save the Green Committee, because we want to give back to the people who helped us something that will be long lasting, and here it is. So I think I might have thanked about everybody, and people like Maya Lynch who delivered this from Wexford. It's small money again, which people have been very helpful to us. It's a pleasure for us to donate something back into the Green. We stay together as a Save the Green Committee, and I would like to say that we're in consultation with the council on what will hopefully turn out to be a very nice and major project in the fields above us, Clunbeg. Now, we've been talking about this for a number of years, through no fault of our own or anybody else's. Time has gone by and we've had to adopt to different changes and different procedures and that. But we're advancing our plans. We want to beautify the field, which is, for the most part of the year, a green field. But there's nothing wrong with the green field because that's what we need around the place. But we want to enhance it from a biodiversity point of view, and it will be an advantage as well from a tourist point of view because we want to make it look better. I'm sure you know the field I'm talking about. It's between the Dan Spring Road and the back of Clunbeg houses. That's in progress at the moment, and we hope that within the next few months we'll be able to have better announcements. Another friend of ours, Dennis O'Reilly, is here. Dennis has been piping all over the country, and he rushed down here to get us. I think he came by horseback from over the Kerry Mountains today. What's this? Good man. So now, well done. Dennis will now come forward, and in memory of all who have passed, I mentioned Maeve O'Donnell. There are many more I could mention, but as I say, it's dangerous to start mentioning names because we leave somebody out. But we couldn't have this evening without thinking about her, and Dennis will now play a lament. Thank you very much, Dennis. So that brings us almost to the end of the evening. We again appreciate everybody coming, Mayor Jim Finucane and the councillors, Jean and the council officials who gave us assistance for this project. And we hope to see you all again very soon. And we'll be going to the Imperial for a cup of tea and a sausage or a sandwich. So you're all invited to join us. I hope there's enough for all of us, but sure that there isn't, we'll divide them up. We're going to know on Taro na Sean Timmy the week is a Rish Crockania. Agus Hasulum with Gomemi Bio and Om Shorish. So Aoife Connie Connor, Aoife O'Donoghue, and Dennis Riley will play the national anthem. You hear what, okay.